Good evening, everyone. Dr. Stacy here. Excited to see you back again this week. I know we had a little break last week with our convention, but I'm excited to share with you our longevity hack number 4. So we're going to dive right in because I have a lot of fantastic information to cover about our technology and how it works and how it's going to fit perfectly into this longevity hack. Before I do, though, I just want you to know that I'm not a medical doctor. I am not your doctor. I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. So I focus in the holistic alternative world versus the allopathic world. So if you have any questions in regards of your health, medications, anything going on with you, please know that the information I'm sharing tonight is for educational purposes only, not intended to make any claims to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose anything. Please go back to your healthcare provider, whoever's in charge of you. Same with your prescription medications, things like that. And of course, if you're pregnant or nursing, check with your practitioner. So I'm going to screen share so we can get started right away with all the amazing things that I want to share with you guys. And I'm going to move my little box maybe down here at the bottom. That might work. And let's see where we're at. All right, so like I said, longevity hack number 4, stress mastery and nervous system reset. We've been hearing a lot about the nervous system recently. People are really starting to come alive, literally, to the fact that this has a massive impact on our health and on our longevity. And looking at this health span, not just your lifespan, but your health span is what this series is all about. So why it matters. A lot of times people are like, yes, I'm stressed. Oh my gosh, I'm always stressed. I'm stressed. And it's like it's a thing to be proud of or something that you're so stressed all the time. And it's not. It's really not a good position to be in at all. And we know that up to 90% of chronic illnesses are impacted by ongoing stress. I remember reading a book years ago called The Healing Code. And it stated in there at that time that the CDC stated 90% of all diseases had a stress-related emotional, physical stress component that caused those diagnoses. So know that stress is very serious and it causes serious implications of disease and damage inside of your body. Looking at that cellular damage, we've talked about telomeres before, of course. Protecting your telomeres with carnosine is super important. We're going to talk about that patch in a minute. But when we look at longevity, your telomeres are going to determine the length of your life. They're the little end caps on the ends of your chromosomes, it looks like the eyelets to the shoelaces or the erasers to the number 2 pencils we all used when we were in school. But we know that when those shrink, we die. So we want those telomeres, and there's very important implications of stress shrinking them. And of course, I read a great book called The Telomere Effect by 2 female doctors. Just fantastic book. I think it was last year or the year before. It was so good about the telomeres and how it even starts in utero when your mom's pregnant with you. It's mind-blowing. And the things you can do to be able to lengthen them. Great book. But we also know that cellular damage is occurring when that cortisol is elevated and it's draining your mitochondrial energy. So you're exhausted all the time, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And so we want to work on balancing that system. You can't achieve longevity if you're living in survival mode. And so we're going to talk about how to regulate this stress to be able to help the body to repair and have that emotional stability. So yeah, we have life. We all have life. Every single person on the planet has life. We have family, we have responsibilities, we have jobs, we have kids, we have houses, we have whatever we have. But how are you responding to that? How are you dealing with that in your nervous system? So we have 2 types of nervous system modes. One is your fight or flight, which is this chronic stress I'm talking about. The go, 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 nonstop, right? That I just can't turn it off mode. The body doesn't heal in that state. It just can't. It is stuck in I'm running from a saber-toothed tiger, but yet there's no tiger. You're just looking at your checkbook. Or you may be driving down the interstate. And so these are things that we have to be able to regulate. So you want to keep your body in that parasympathetic state. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about a patch that's going to help you do that. And some other things that are going to help you do that. So that rest and digest state, being calm, feeling safe, and letting the body heal and recover. You can't heal in the same state that made you sick. And I can ask people, I listen to people talk about their issues, right? My consultations, talking to them, listening to what's going on with them. I'll say, when did this start? And they'll tell me how long, how many years they've been experiencing it. And I'll say, okay, tell me what was going on in your life right then. Oh, I had just taken care of my mom. She was in a nursing home. We got her out. I was taking care of her. She required full care around the clock. I wasn't sleeping. My family would help out. My cat died. The neighbor, got ran over. I don't know, whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes the disease, right? Here comes the diagnosis because it just tipping point, the body couldn't handle anymore. So, I remember years ago when Taylor got out of the hospital and I went to a group meeting with some women and men. It was a spiritual group, and they were healers of all kinds. And I sat there that day, and at the end of that hour session with them, listening to what they were talking about, some of the things I'm going to share with you next, um, little lady Penny, she was about 80 years old. She came up to me afterwards and she said, "Honey, you are never going to heal that child unless you take care of yourself first. You can't take care of your family unless you take care of you. You have to show up every single Tuesday. Let us help you help yourself the other 6 days of the week by what you learn here every single Tuesday." And I showed up every Tuesday for 4 years. I never missed a Tuesday. What turned into a 1, 2 hour thing in the morning turned into us going to lunch and then us coming back in the afternoon and doing these types of practices I'm going to share with you. It's so important that we are responsible for regulating our nervous system and using the tools to do that. So we know this is longevity, right? And we know that chronic stress ages you. And we've talked about these things in our previous Zooms, but raising that blood sugar, causing the insulin resistance, those are buzzwords now. Thank goodness that people are knowing about that. The oxidative stress in their body, the DNA damage. We know that this impairs detoxification and immune resilience, which we're going to talk about next week. That's the focus of longevity hack number 5 is detoxing. We know that chronic stress disrupts sleep, hormone balance, recovery. We've talked about those. And so when you're looking at rewiring your stress response, breath work is key. You'll hear me say prayer, meditation, breath work. To me, that all needs to come together in one space. Maybe you separate it, I don't know. But when you're breathing, you're present on your breath. That box breath is where you like breathe in 4 counts, hold it 4 counts, let it out 4 counts, and then hold it another 4 and then do it again. You can do that in 7 counts, 6 counts, whatever you want, but at least 4. But that's helping to calm your nervous system, to calm that vagus nerve. That prayer meditation time is so important that you just sit and be in a state of gratitude for whatever it may be. Just that you're able to sit there and you're able to stand up and go get a glass of water and come back and sit. Those are things to be grateful for. So staying in that place of listening and thankfulness, gratefulness. You cannot be grateful and be stressed and anxious and worried and fearful and frustrated at the same time. You just cannot. Those are totally different frequencies, totally different vibrations. So if you think I've got to spend some time each day, or maybe I got to spend little bits of time each day, depending on your day and your work and what's going on, getting into just let me flip my nervous system. Let me get in a state of gratitude. What can I be grateful for right now? Oh, Topo Chico, favorite water. Love it. Absolutely. Oh, Cellular evening formula. Just got this baby in. Oh my God. Can't believe how amazing that is. I'm grateful for these things. I can't feel grateful and happy for these things and be mad and ticked off and frustrated at the same time. You just can't. And so one regulates the nervous system and one disrupts the nervous system. It's so important to get out into nature. We talked about movement last week or 2 weeks ago into being outside, getting that sunlight, that early morning sunlight. No sunglasses, but reducing that cortisol by going for a 20-minute walk. Maybe 20 minutes in the morning or 20 minutes in the afternoon. Heat or cold therapy. Some people love cold plunges. I don't. That's why I live in Florida. I'm going for the infrared sauna. I know Laura has a sauna in her house as well too. Like we're all about, building resilience through the heat instead of through the cold, but whatever works for you. But we know movement, gentle cardio. I used to do crazy intense cardio, and I know many of you have as well too, and that creates cortisol increase. There's, time for some short bursts of it, I'll talk about in a minute, but then looking at that yoga or that gentle cardio to release stress hormones. There's not a day I walk outside of my house and go for a walk out in nature and it's stressful. It's calming, it's relaxing. I love it. So, and then finally that connection, that human touch and laughter, raising that oxytocin. If you were at convention this past weekend in Anaheim, the hugs, the laughter, the love, the connection, we were just one big ball of oxytocin running around there all over Southern California. So definitely know that that is a huge booster of helping you to respond correctly to stress. So regulate yourself. It's your job. It's your responsibility. And then let's work on elevating. So, the functional medicine perspective says stress is a metabolic disruptor. And we now know, I love, what is her name? What is Casey's book? Casey Means' book. What is the name of her book? Casey Means, energy something. What is the name of her book? Laura, you earlier, one of you tell me real quick. Dr. Casey Means, excellent book where she talks all about the metabolic system and the disruptors and the diseases. Again, nothing to do with LifeWave, but huge, incredible book that she has written on just very all encompassing on how metabolic disruptions are causing our problems in our body today. But we know that is going to, again, impair that detox, alter your gut health, and deplete your mitochondria. So keeping this metabolic system in check, stress is a key factor to that. And nervous system health, of course. We've talked about hormone balance. We're going to talk more about immune system function next week and those recovery practices to restore your mitochondria efficiency. There you go. Good energy. I knew it was something with energy. Thank you, Laura. I knew you read it too. Casey Means' book, Good Energy, is incredible. What have I said tonight? Telomere effect, good energy. What was the first one? Oh, healing code. Oh, just good books that are popping in tonight. Recommendations for you guys because you are your best doctor, right? You're the best medicine to heal yourself is your intention in it and immersing yourselves in these books. And if you don't like to read, then listen to the audio in your car, turn the radio off or the news or whatever you listen to and listen to it because it's just great information that really helps you to think this is important for my life, right? And protecting my DNA. So, kind of some ideas for me. I love obviously start my morning with water. X2O, thank you. It's coming soon, guys. Don't worry. David said sooner than later. But hydrating in the morning, sunlight, deep breathing, exercise. I love walking. I love weight training in the morning. I love, just to get my body moving. But I also like to get up. I Zoom a lot, but I like to get up. I have a poodle that pees all the time, even though she's not a puppy anymore. So she'll go ring that bell, and I'm like, okay, and go run and take her outside. So I have little bursts of sunlight throughout the day, literally 18 or 20 times, because she likes to go out all the time. I think it's for me, honestly. I think she likes to chase lizards, and I think she just knows I need to get up out of my chair and go get a break and get some more sunlight. But in the evening time, I'm a big gratitude journal person. I'm not a music person in the evening. That's my morning in my gym. But the evening time for sure, gratitude journal, relaxing, helping to lower that cortisol and improve that sleep. And maybe think about, once a day taking a break from the phone. Sometimes you just turn it off or put it in a drawer or put it on airplane mode, right? Or just, take a rest day, take a day to yourself without doing anything work related or business related or something like that, right? So let's spend a little bit of time diving into LifeWave's patches because these patches work so well to help the different systems and organs in your body. We have over 90 clinical studies, and this is a wearable light technology. So very similar to me sitting in my infrared sauna, that's 140 degrees. Wavelengths of light from that sauna are entering my body. I don't see or feel them, but those wavelengths of light are creating change inside of my body. Maybe they're detoxing or improving my skin, right? Collagen, elastin, or maybe they happen to be improving cardiovascular function. I don't know. Each button gives me different options. So when I look at this technology, I don't need a sauna or any other type of red light or any other therapy, light therapy device. I'm the power source. So when I put my patch on, whether it be daytime or nighttime, immediately a wavelength of light is reflected into my body. And that wavelength of light is going to elevate a different peptide. So each of these patches, the eon, the glutathione, the carnosine, the X39, elevate different peptides in your body. Peptides are just chains of proteins, they're amino acids. You have had them since the day you were born. They're just building blocks of your body. And so these peptides decline as we age in their ability to do what they once did. Compound stress on that, diet, lifestyle choices, accidents, injuries, surgeries. The body gets out of balance pretty quick. So when we talk about stress regulation, autonomic nervous system regulation, Eon is our number one patch. We have clinical study upon clinical study. Putting on that Eon patch will bring your nervous system into a parasympathetic state instantly. We have heart rate variability test. You can put that on yourself. You can see the changes in your heart rate immediately. We can see nervous system regulation. Yes, it does more than that with reducing inflammation and other things. But for this purpose tonight, know that this is going to help relax you, manage your stress. And I loved how David really spent more time this weekend talking about it and how it is a great patch for the evening time. I don't have any issues sleeping. I don't have issues turning it off. That's just me. But a lot of people do, including Brent. And the monkey mind gets going at night. And the thoughts, you lay down and you're like, oh, and all these things flood in, right? If that happens to me ever, which sometimes it does, not very often, I'll pick up my phone or I'll pick up my notepad and my pen and I'll make a list of all the things that just flooded in that I need to do. And then I lay them down, they'll get done tomorrow, and I'm nighty night. Say a few little prayers and clearings and I'm out. So knowing that Eon is your best source for reducing that stress and balancing that nervous system and helping you get into that, not that it's a sleep patch, but helping your nervous system get into that state. You heard me talk about that on week 1 when we talked about longevity hack 1 with sleep. Glutathione, let's do that daytime for immune support, detox support. I'll dive deeper into that next week. But when we look at stress management, glutathione is huge, being that master antioxidant in the body, helping to go around. I kind of picture it like Pac-Man, chomping up those free radicals. We talked about oxidative stress earlier, and so glutathione is very neuroprotective and cell protective. Carnosine, totally different antioxidant. Different peptide, of course, but it's really important when we look at the physical fitness, the recovery, post exercise. You can use it at night before sleep. A lot of people say they put it up on their third eye or something. They have a lot of dreams. Their brain seems like it's like going, going, going. I do carnosine during the day as well too. Never tried it at night, so I can't say. But it's a huge patch when I look at blood sugar regulation. We talked about that. And we know every time your blood sugar spikes, you age. So we want to keep that in balance every day. And then, of course, we've talked about X39 quite a bit throughout the last few weeks, but this is going to help with stress management because we know it does elevate GABA a little bit, which is also going to help with that sleep. We know it elevates glutathione a little bit, so that's going to help with that protective of, the oxidative stress in the body and the immune system. And of course, we know it elevates GHK, and that is the superhuman of all peptides. And so it does so many things. And we can even look at our clinical studies. One of my favorite studies is 6 weeks into patching with X39, looking at the brain mapping, looking at the EEGs, and seeing how the brain changes. You can see a brain that's in colors, right? It's hot, it's red, it's orange, right? It's fiery, it's not coherent. We have a right side of our brain and a left side of our brain. And those need to be in coherence. And so, meaning in harmony with each other. And so we can see at 3 weeks, there are some changes. Some people experience a little bit more coherence in their two sides of their brain. But by 6 weeks, you can really see changes in the brain turning more of a green, blue, purple color. And so what that means is you have a calmer brain. You have a brain that is in more sync, in coherence. Your communication is improving. Your executive functions are improving. Your neuro functions are improving. So we have more of a calm, balanced brain, improving that cognition and memory around that 6 week period of time. Huge implications for stress and for recovery. So those are my 4 favorite patches for using with on a daily basis for stress. So looking at transforming stress into superpower, because we all have stress, we all do. Patches, key, 100%. Like every single day, those 4 patches, this is just me personally. When Laura, Lee, and I started 4.5 years ago, Laura and I saw David in Sarasota here just a couple days after we found out about the patches. We didn't have our patches in yet. And we went to hear him speak, and he had 13 patches on. And we're like, we don't even have 13 patches. And he said, I know. Some of them are experimental. I'm just trying them on myself. Which, of course, then here comes X49 like a year later, right? And then he had multiple sets of other patches on, like the energy enhancer. He loves one set on his upper body, one set on his lower body. And so we thought, well, he didn't die with 13 patches on. We're going to stick 6 on. So we just started from day one, X39, Eon, Carnosine, Glutathione. I like mine below my belly button. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, done. And remember, we didn't have X49 back then. And then I'd rip those off. I think I started Energy Enhancer in the beginning as well, too. I'd have those inside of my ankles to get rid of the little puffiness in your toes. And then I would just rip those off at night and throw on that Alavita underneath my belly button. And we still do that today. So when you look at transforming stress into superpower, we have stress. We travel, we fly, we are working, we're on Zoom, we're teaching, we're training, we're interacting with our families, we're having vacations, we're having coffee meetups, we're doing patches and Prosecco parties. We're living our lives, doing all the things we want to do. We're having girls' days and guys' days and fun days and all that kind of stuff. But we all have life and we all have stress. And so being able to keep your nervous system regulated through it is what this is about, not avoiding it. Don't avoid the stress in your life. That's not what longevity is about. It's about being able to recover faster. You're stressed out. Get up from your desk, walk away, take some breaths, hold your breath, go for a walk outside, breathe in some fresh sunlight, put your bare feet in the ground, slap on an extra Eon. Maybe you need 2 today, right? And then come back into your situation. Write in your gratitude journal, or just think of things you're grateful for. And your nervous system will start to regulate. So the healthy stress is those little short bursts of things. And this is becoming super popular now. And that is running, sprinting, short times, like 20 seconds. David talked about that this weekend. Just little maybe walk, warm up, and then boom, 20 seconds of just sprint and then stop. Maybe you can't do that. But he talked about doing it on an incline on a treadmill. Take your treadmill. If you're walking, take that treadmill up to high as you can go, as fast as you can go for walking for 20 seconds and then drop it back down. So that's healthy stress, little burst to create movement. Of course, you can do the cold plunge. I'm opting out for that. But you can create resilience in your body with that. And then that intentional recovery. You've got to put in the time, right? You've got to put in the time for the breath work, the meditation, whatever it may be, the yoga, the walking, the practices, the journaling. You've got to put in that time. And maybe it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but that's all going to help you to regulate your own nervous system. Don't go to stimulants, right? Like things, they're depressants, alcohol, right? Drugs, things like that. We don't go to those kinds of things for stress recovery. I remember years ago, my sister-in-law used to tell me she would drink a glass of wine while she had dinner. She was cooking dinner, which one glass turned into 2 and 3. And before she got done with dinner, she'd put down a bottle of wine to deal with her stressful day as a school teacher of first graders. And I was like, girl, 5 prescription medications, 4 surgeries later. Life wasn't so great from her tool of recovering with alcohol. And we all know people have been there, and it is what it is. But how can you get out of that habit, that pattern, and start incorporating other things, other habits, other patterns? So, a couple takeaways. I've obviously said all of these. So, using our patches in conjunction with these things, integrating this, it creates that consistency, that awareness, and that recovery. And again, going back to the sleep we talked about the first week, right? These are our four key things we've discussed, but definitely prioritizing that. So, true longevity is regulated nervous system inside of a busy life. So, you master your inner state, everything else, your metabolism, your mindset, your relationships, it's all aligning. And you want to be in that place of alignment. That's that place of creation, right? That's the bridge between a long life and a joyful life. So, we're going to talk next week about detox and cellular cleanup. We've talked thus far. If you've missed any of these, go back to my YouTube channel. You will see 1, 2, 3, and tonight will be 4 that will be there. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and stress mastery, if you want to refer back to them. So longevity isn't built from one habit. It's the rhythm between rest, fuel, movement, and calm. So sleep deeply, eat intentionally, move with purpose, breathe through life. That's the art and science of longevity. So, with that being said, I know we have quite a few of you on here that are first-time patchers. So, or maybe you've just heard about this for the first time. And this Zoom podcast, whatever you want to call it, has been going on now for right at 4 years. We used to do daytime Zooms quite a bit, and we switched it about 6 months into evening time. So we're right at 4 years doing this in the evening. So there are 4 years of videos on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about this technology, the person that invited you here can give you more information. They can give you more resources if you want to watch other videos where it's maybe just patch focused. I've interviewed a lot of doctors and practitioners, people in the wellness space, athletes, all sorts of people in different series over the past 4 years. We've focused on brain health, we've focused on heart health, we've focused on immune health and detoxing, and we've done lots of this. So definitely check those things out, but obviously get back with the person that invited you. They're going to help you learn more about this technology through PDFs and videos. They're going to be the ones to help you get set up with your own wholesale pack. You have the ability to purchase these patches through them at a discounted price. And you can pick the pack you want. You can customize it however you want. Tonight I talked about X39, Eon, which we call the dynamic duo. Those are a must for everything, anything, anyone, no matter what. I always start everybody on X39 and Eon because we all have inflammation, we all have stress in our life, and helping with the nervous system is key for the X39, elevating that GHK, activating those master cells in the body for the body to be able to really help to heal, to restore, to repair, to regenerate itself. And so combining those two are just a huge benefit. And of course, you heard me mention glutathione and carnosine, the two big antioxidants in the body that I would not go a day without personally. So those are fantastic. And you can customize those in one pack if you want to. Or multiple, right? You get multiple months. We know with our technology, we put it on in the morning, other than maybe ones I mentioned at night, and then we take it off after 12 hours and we throw it away. Every patch has its own 12-hour period. And then you would get up the next day and you would do the exact same thing again. So when you're elevating peptides, consistency is key. And this is not something you have to rotate off and on like shots. We're not doing that, right? This is very non-invasive. And so you continue using the patch at least a month for every decade you are old. That's how you're going to really be able to ramp up the body's ability to stay into balance, to stay where it's supposed to be, and to continue to support all of the systems and organs in your body. And repair and regeneration is not something that happens overnight, right? It didn't take you, 24 hours or 30 days to get into the situation you are. Things unfortunately changed over time, maybe not in such a good direction, and that's okay. No judgment. But today's a new day, and so today you have the opportunity to make new decisions and incorporate new habits into your life so that you do increase not just the lifespan, but also the health span. And the person that invited you here is going to help you with that a little bit more. So thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing you again next week when we talk about detox and the cellular repair that's going to take place with that. So thank you all and have a fantastic evening.